Peace at last in Ukraine, or just another twist in a deadly Russia-Ukraine war? I am Kashish Dhawan, and this weekend the world's eyes were on Mar-a-Lago, where US President Donald Trump met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, claiming that the negotiations are in their final stages. Russia also spoke about a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin and plans to speak again as the talks progress. But how close are we really to the peace? And what's still standing in the way of that? So here's the big picture. Trump said the two leaders wanted to end. I think we can move it pretty rapidly. He praised Zelenskyy, calling him brave and, like I quote, very brave, and added, I do think we have the makings of a deal. We are in the final stages of talking. Zelenskyy confirmed that US and Ukrainian negotiators have made progress on the 20-point peace plan, with about 90% of the draft being agreed. But, and it's going to be a big but with Trump, that he admitted there are still one or two very thorny issues being unresolved. The thorniest point, the eastern Donbas region, where Russia wants Ukraine to see. Trump said we are getting closer to an agreement on that, and that's going to be a big issue. Certainly one of the biggest issue, and I think we are closer. The US floated the idea of free economic zone in the parts of Donbas, where Ukraine could withdraw as a part of negotiated settlement. But see, Zelenskyy was clear. You know our position, we have to respect our law and our people. We respect the territory which we control. He also emphasized we can have a referendum on any kind of points of this plan because it's their land, the land of our nation for a lot of generations. Aside from territory, Zelenskyy said the leaders discussed all aspects of the 20-point plan. Security guarantees, military issues are finally aligned, which he calls a key milestone in achieving lasting peace. But again, will that be enough to convince Moscow? That's going to be a question, of course, in itself. Trump also floated the possibility of visiting Ukraine and addressing its parliament. He said, I have no problem with traveling to Ukraine. I would like to get the deal done and not necessarily have to go. Zelenskyy responded, you are welcome, but will a symbolic visit? See, will it make a real difference? And what about rebuilding Ukraine that has been destroyed in this ongoing Russia-Ukraine war? Trump said that the Moscow would play an important role. They're going to be helping. Russia wants Ukraine to succeed. That is something what Trump has said. He also claimed that Putin has offered support, including energy and electricity, at very low prices. But despite and during all these discussions, there were Russian missiles continuously firing, and there is no ceasefire yet. Trump explained that President Putin has not agreed to a ceasefire because he does not want to halt fighting, only to resume it later. I understand that position. That is what Trump said. Trump also discussed about Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant with Putin, noting that President Putin is actually working with Ukraine on getting it open. He hasn't hit it with missiles. See, this is a weird thing to actually think about, saying that Putin hasn't hit it with missiles and he's actually thinking about finally having a three-way discussion with Trump and Zelenskyy. But at this point, what I think is this is going to be a very difficult situation because there are non-stop firing on both the sides and there is no sign of ceasefire anytime soon. Trump said that at right time, I think it can happen. But who can agree to that? And suggesting that Putin is open to such talks as negotiation continues. But let's do the reality check over here. Negotiations are moving. Progress is being claimed and final stages may indeed be near. But thorny territorial disputes, security guarantees and trust issues mean peace is not guaranteed yet. For millions of Ukrainians and Russians, this isn't just a story on the news. It's their homes, it's their land, their future that is at stake at this point. Will there be a peace at last, or just another conflict, or just another turn in the conflict that has already costed everyone so much? The coming days will reveal whether these talks can deliver real results for both Ukraine and Russia, for its people and for global security. I'll continue to follow this story more closely and bring you all the latest updates only on NewsX.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.